Well, I just want to thank everybody again for being here, for taking part in our storytelling adventure. But you know what? After you click that subscribe button, which I really thank you for doing, I want to tell you about something, about the source of this story that we're getting ready to talk about. When I was a teenager, I think it was, I was aware of a little magazine called Fate magazine. It's been around an awful long time. But my aunt subscribed to it, and I was just aware. I was aware it was there. In fact, decades and decades before AMC's Walking Dead or Paranormal Witness or the late night radio, what is that, Coast to Coast AM, all the websites, blogs, books, movies, before all of that, there was Fate magazine. A first of its kind, actually, publication dedicated to in-depth coverage of mysteries and unexplained phenomena. Well, years went by, time went on, I started this channel, and I don't know what did it, but I ran across a copy of Fate magazine, or its name came up or something, and I got the idea. They have such terrific stories, such unusual stories, that I would contact them and ask if it'd be okay if I share some of those stories with you. And so they have given us permission to use their stories on our channel. Well, I went over to their website, and there's a lot of stuff under construction there. You know, they have stepped into the modern era with a lot of gusto. They have an online store, and of course you've got the usual t-shirts and trading cards and so on. But guess what else I found? I found a 1948 issue of Fate magazine. Isn't that terrific? And they have a lot of those old issues that you can look up and buy. And then I signed up for free Fate news, and you can do that too. Then I wandered over to their bookstore, and I found books. What was one of them? Angels and Heavenly Visitations. That's what it was. World's Strangest True Encounters. UFO Hard Evidence. Our Haunted Planet. And I saw that they've got ebooks are in development now. I don't know if those are ready quite yet. But they also have videos. And I watched a 2-minute video that was so good. It was very well narrated, and it's a true story. That's what I like about Fate magazine. These are all true stories. And it was called Zorro and the Zombie, and it's not as weird as it sounds. It was somebody actually doing some very serious research on zombies. But it was just excellent. Then I found out that Fate magazine also has a radio program with Kat, K-A-T, Hobson. And Kat interviews researchers and investigators and all sorts of people in these paranormal fields. And it provides you with answers and true reports of the strange and the unknown. So not only can you read your favorite stories and reports, but now you can hear them. And they come out of, I think they're broadcast live every Sunday night on WBHM. That's a public FM radio station that comes out of the University of Alabama in Birmingham. So they have got so much, and I am so tickled that they have allowed us to take some of their stories and let me share them with you. So I'll try to pick out the ones that I like, because I think if I like them, you just might too. If you want to go to their website, go to fatemag, FATEMAG.com, and you'll find all the things that I'm telling you about. So let me tell you about the one that I found that we're going to start this with. It's from Fate magazine, from a March 1964 issue. A true incident reported by Ruby Parker, and it's called Miracle and the Bees. I hope you like it. It was a chilly day a blustery day in February of 1959, and we were in southeast Missouri. The gray clouds, they were hanging so low in the sky, it almost seemed like they were brushing the top of the bare trees. And it was the bleak day of my father's funeral. My dad, Charles D. Hyde, he was a farmer who lived in the gently rolling hills near Morley. That's in Scott County, Missouri. He raised cantaloupes primarily and watermelons, and he kept bees. He kept bees because somebody told him many years ago that bees somehow helped melons. Well, so Dad had the bees, and he'd become really attached to them. He seemed to have, I don't know, some kind of a working arrangement with his bee friends, and they, in turn, they seemed to sense his love and his affection for them. He could handle his bees, work with them, walk about in the area, go where the hives were stationed, row on row, and never get stung. Well, the rest of us, now, we always kept our distance. Let one of us venture too close, and we invariably paid the penalty. Our relationship with Dad's bees through the years, it consisted primarily of enjoying breakfast of hot pancakes and butter and honey. And there, our relationship with the bees ended. Well, after Dad's sudden heart attack, he was removed from his farmhouse to a funeral home some 12 miles away. And at 1 o'clock, the day of the funeral, we were all at Dad's farmhouse. And then suddenly, above the small talk of visiting friends and kin, we heard the buzzing of Dad's bees. And we said, "Bees? Active in midwinter? That's impossible." Well, the time came for us to leave for the church and for our last goodbye to Daddy. And we got in our cars in the driveway. The bees were flying here. They were sort of flying here and there in the strangest manner. We had to ask ourselves, did they know their master was close by in our small town church? Well, dozens of bees buzzed over our heads, and one or two even lit gently on our hands and even on our faces, as if they were trying to caress us in our sorrow. My goodness, we wondered about that, but we went on and we drove away. Well, the funeral service for Dad was held at the church, and then a short graveside service followed in Forest Hill Cemetery. As the family assembled under the graveside canopy, we noticed that several bees in the profusion of flowers, and so many things raced through my mind. I recall our morning's breakfast conversations and my casual question, I wonder whether Dad's bees will swarm today as it says they will in the old English legend. That's what the old legend said, that when the bee's master dies, they swarm. And then my husband, with his calm assurance, said that the bees would not swarm. Not in midwinter. They're hibernating, he had explained. But the bees were there. Well, later, sometime after the ceremony and after the flowers had been nicely arranged, the family returned to the cemetery. And as we neared the grave, my sister came running down the hill, so excited. The bees, they're coming in a great mass, she cried. Well, the funeral director, the sexton, and others who were still in the cemetery, they watched as the bees came toward us. A great black cloud of them flew directly from our home across the valley, and they covered every blossom on the flower-bedecked grave. And yet, they didn't sting any of us. None of us assembled there at the grave. They crawled over our faces. They crawled on our arms and on our hands. And I felt like the prophets of old must have felt as they witnessed the miracles of the Master. You know, I could almost hear Jesus say, "Peace be with you. Be not afraid." Well, when we returned home, we were met by my younger brother, and he was as excited as we were. "Dad's bees are acting up," he said. "The other bees are leaving the hives by the hundreds, and they're not coming back." And they did not return. Maybe the bees were, I don't know, somehow following an ageless urge to join their friend. I don't know. Miracle, extrasensory perception, or what? Just a great tranquility descended over our house in the gentle rolling hills that evening. We all gathered on the back porch of the house for one last glimpse of the countryside before returning to our respective homes. The setting sun, it broke through the overcast for a moment, and we carried with us the picture of forest hills in the distance, bathed in the weak winter sunlight. And I can tell you, we were all thinking about the miracle and the bees. Thank you for listening to that lovely story that Fate magazine gave us permission to share with you. I hope you like our new series, that you'll come back for some more of these. And you know what? I don't talk about it a lot because I really don't know how to self-promote, and I don't want to learn. But I do have some books that I hope that you might enjoy. Might run on over to Amazon and see if there's anything there. I think I've got about 22 of them out now. If there's anything you like, please help yourself. Drop me a line. Let me know that you enjoy them. Thanks again for being here. Thanks for being with me on our Sunday stories. And we will see you next time. Till then, God bless.